come on. Ho-Oh, can't you be shiny? Please? It's been 100 soft resets. Please just shine already.
That might take a while.
Ah! What the hell? How did you get in here?
I came here for a portal that Morgan made.
Morgan!
I'm just gonna go help Marie defeat the Octarians now. Bye-bye!
Get back here!
Oh, don't be mad at him. I asked him to get me here.
And why exactly are you here anyway?
Owain.
Okay, so last time Junko was my co-host, and today you are?
Yep. Though I never realized how rainbowy your channel was.
The sudden realization that rainbow is my favorite color. Well, welcome to the stage, I guess. Just, please, never use my sun ever again, or I will banish you to the Shadow Realm.
How did you even get that?
Junko stole it. Specifically from the Bridged Merrick.
Oh, well that explains everything.
Anyway, I'm Light Melody, and welcome to Fire Emblem Theory. The game is Awakening, and today we will be looking at Owain. And to help me with this, it's none other than Hadokener.
Hello.
Looks like we get to figure out who your son's father is.
Well, a version of him.
True, you did marry Lissa after all, but we will be looking for the father of the leader of the Justice Cabal today. Which, given Lissa and Owain start with vastly different classes, being a sword fighter either came from his father or something in his blood. I mean, out of the 5 people with exiled blood we know of, Marth, Crom, and Lucy use falchion, which is a sword, Lissa has a staff or axe, and Em is a pacifist.
I think Em could have been a healer too, given Lissa can class change into something similar to what she wore.
Kinda like Sakura and Fates, who can turn into a class similar to her, stepmother?
Let's just leave it at that. But we should look at who Lissa can marry. She can marry Frederick, Varian, Stahl, Vake, Kellum, Donald, Lonku, Richten, Gaius, Gregor, Libra, and Henry.
And we count Frederick, Stahl, Vike, Keelam, Rickon, Gregor, and Henry out due to previous theories.
So that leaves us with Varian, Donald, Lonku, Gaius, and Libra.
Well, that's a nice number. Let's look at Lissa and Owain's classes now. Lissa starts as a cleric and has access to Troubadour and Pegasus Knight. Owain starts off as a Myrmidon with access to Priest and then Barbarian. Even though Owain is much more appealed to sword fighting, he has learned a decent amount of magic to also become a priest and help heal people when needed, say there's a lack of healers in the army. The Barbarian class, however, sorta comes from left field.
Maybe not entirely, since Lissa can become a war cleric. Lissa is depicted with a staff in most of her artwork, but people have also drawn her or know her to be good with an axe. Even in Fire Emblem Warriors, she was given an axe for combat instead of giving her a staff, or making her a war cleric or a troubadour.
If she was a troubadour in that game, she would be the 5th horse unit. I mean, I love playing as Elise, but I think Lissa is the only ground axe unit with the game that isn't on a mount. I mean, Frederick also uses an axe, but he's always on a horse. Plus, even in Fire Emblem Heroes, she has 2 units, one as a colorless staff unit, and another as a green axe unit, which was a Chris's unit along with Crom, who also became a green axe unit.
So that means Lissa can be a threat on the battlefield. Well, she did say not to call her delicate.
And yet you married her.
Is that wrong?
No, we just both fell in love with the first people we see in Awakening.
But yours was meant to happen. I mean, come on, we all know you have a thing for blue nets.
I am aware of my own weakness, thank you! Anyway, let's look at our 5 candidates.
Let's start with Varian, who starts as an archer and has access to mage and wyvern rider. Donald starts as a villager, who has access to mercenary and fighter. Lonku starts as a myrmidon and has access to thief and wyvern rider. And Gaius starts as a thief and has access to myrmidon and fighter. And finally, let's look at growth rates. Between both Lissa and Owain, Owain is better in both strength and defense, and is equal with Lissa in skill. With Donald and Lonku, Donald equals Owain in skill, but lower in resistance and magic, but higher in speed. Lonku equals Owain in defense, but lower in resistance and magic, but higher in luck. With Gaius, he's with Owain in defense, but lower in magic, luck, and resistance. And finally, Libra, who is equal with Owain in strength, lower in luck, but higher in magic, speed, and resistance.
And before you asked, yes, I checked. Varian would be 2.5, but since I still think he wouldn't help Owain in any way with learning a sword due to his classes, he's still out. And so is Donald, since he has the same score as Varian.
Then I guess we'll be looking at Libra, Gaius, and Lonku. So we'll start with Libra. See support. Lissa asks Libra to test her courage with him. He's confused and asks if the wall wasn't enough of a test of courage. Lissa then explains that it's a training exercise Robin made up to adapt to the unexpected. And I'm sure Robin told more, but Lissa skips it and tells Libra they should do it anyway. Libra agrees to help since it seems worth it. Lissa then says they have to find Robin together, and Libra questions why it's just them and Lissa to say those were the rules. Libra then asks why she chose him to be a partner, and she responds with, because he's a priest, and assumes he can ward off ghosts.
I'm thinking Alyssa believing in ghosts exists is as true as Komaru having powers as a medium in Despair Girls.
Wait, do you even like Komaru?
I can say I like her a lot more than Monica. And Haiji.
Yeah, anyway, back to the support. Libra says he doubts his training has to do with ghosts, but Lissa then drags him along with her. B support. They finish with their training when Lissa says she notices how Libra is pretty and how perfect he is with his looks and says it's unfair. Libra is confused again and Lissa goes on about how perfect Libra is and becomes jealous about it. Libra then says she has traits he lacks and Lissa asks him to list them. He does, saying she's expressive, true to herself, and makes people happy. He keeps going and says he would trade his looks for her heart. This embarrasses Lissa, since she wasn't expecting to be praised that much. Libra apologizes and says for him, Lissa is easy to talk to. He smiles and Lissa says it's rare for him to smile. When Libra asks if he doesn't like to smile and Lissa confirms it, he asks if she's been watching him. Lissa figures she has, but doesn't quite know why. Libra then asks that she'd like to hear why when she figures it out. A support. Lissa comes up to Libra saying she's figured out why she's been watching him. And it's because he's like a ghost.
Like a ghost. Okay, I'm as confused as Libra is at this very moment.
Apparently it's because sometimes he seems like an illusion due to the fact normally someone with his appearance would be the center of attention. But with Libra, he seems like he would disappear if she doesn't keep watching him. Libra says it's flattering to him, and then Lissa asks him how he sees her. He says he's full of life and that she's the complete opposite to him. But then Lissa says that that's not true and he's the liveliest person she knows. And apparently that's the first time Libra has ever been told that. And lastly, S support. Lissa comes in calling for Libra again, and he answers saying he hasn't disappeared. She says she didn't mean to call him a ghost to be mean, and I think Libra was just joking there, Lissa. But she is worried by this and about that and says that the only solution is to stay by his side forever. Realizing that she just said the sentence out loud, Libra is happy she did and she feels the same and always will if she will have him. And as always, he shows the ring and says he'll promise to be with her and she promised to be with him until the sun dies, apparently.
Well, it's either that or some evil person makes the sun never rise again.
Who would even be able to do that?
Topaz, Apollo, Princess Celestia.
Wait, Topaz and Apollo can do that?
In theory, and in past phases of Tales of Fate.
And the support ends with Libra saying he's never felt this alive before in his life. Aww, that was cute.
Lissa's just adorable in any support, I guess. Anyway, on to Gaius. See support. We come upon a scene with Lissa learning how to sew. And she pricked herself, and in comes Gaius asking if she's alright. When she explains what she's doing, he said she should probably bandage all those pricks. Lissa ignores it, but then Gaius goes on to say that even small wounds can be infected and wants to take a look at it. So Lissa, giving up, agrees since it seems he's gonna keep worrying about it, and to stop calling her princess. Actually, yeah, I agree with her. Not about stop calling her princess, but that name coming from Gaius's mouth would sound pretty sarcastic.
He gives everybody nicknames, for some reason.
Lissa, however, thinks he didn't give Crom a nickname. And then she goes on a rant about how her brother risks his life every day, and she is constantly protected. Gaius tries to cheer her up by saying it's the worst sewing accident he's seen. That's not cheering up, Gaius. So he patches up Lissa's hand with lots of bandages, apparently, because she apparently pierced a vein? How? First, it was Gregor and him walking around with a damn wound that we shall not describe more about, and now this? But anyway, she's upset, and Gaius, still trying to cheer her up, tries to see what she's sewing, and I expected nothing less of it looking horrible.
Can you sew?
I fixed a tear in my shirt once. Does that count?
Nope.
At least I didn't prick myself in the vein with a needle. But we find out she was making, a kitty? Gaius? Buddy? I know you are trying to be convincing, but it just ain't working, so please, say no more. I can feel the pain of trying to do right, but it's going so wrong. Wait a minute. Is he giving useful advice? I now take back what I said! Anyway, it seems Gaius has a lot of skills, so Lissa thanks him for his advice, but not without Gaius telling her to take up a safer hobby like jousting? Gaius, I don't think you know what the word safe means. B support. We return to the scene of Gaius teaching Lissa how to sew. Well, their current project was mostly completed by Gaius, but even Lissa agrees if he does everything, she'll learn nothing. Though Gaius doesn't get it, since, Lissa is a princess and should ask someone to do it for her. But, as we all know, Lissa will not work like that, though she is upset that she hasn't learned anything for herself. Gaius says it takes time to learn things, and Lissa states again that she gets frustrated of not doing the simplest things herself. And in comes Gaius with practice makes perfect, and Lissa takes his advice to heart and asks him to teach her everything he knows, which Gaius counters with, well, he's not a teacher. But after some begging, Gaius just can't turn a princess down. A support, which starts with Gaius complaining about how much salt Lissa put in the soup. Ah, I see. We're off to teaching her cooking then. Lissa apparently put a whole bag of salt in it. Okay, then Gaius said potatoes were edible, which Lissa asked him to stop trying to make her feel better, and, she also pointed out that he helps with the potatoes. He admits it, and Lissa says since she isn't doing so well, she'd better find a husband who can cook. How convenient. Asking Gaius if he'd marry a woman who couldn't cook, he never thought about it, but interrupting him, Lissa takes it as he probably wouldn't. And then changes the subject to have him teach her how to open a jar. At this point, Gaius says Lissa is sweet and kind, but brings up if they should be seeing each other this often because, he's a known thief, and Lissa is a princess, and Crom's sister, so rumors could start? But Lissa can be scary. If people have a problem with that, she'll put their heads on a spike. Which scares Gaius a bit, reasonably. But then Lissa admits she's kidding. But overall, she really doesn't care if people gossip about her and Gaius. All she wants is for Gaius to treat her like a normal friend. And finally, S support. Lissa surprises Gaius, startling him, and asks if she scared him. He says no, but we all saw he screamed. She did, however, cover his eyes, too. Though the girl does like her pranks. I still haven't forgiven the frog thing, Lissa.
Oh, so you didn't see that coming?
You did?
Well, Lissa is known for being a little silly and pulling pranks on people. Not to mention she had a dozen frogs to do that.
I think the only reason you and Lissa fit so well is because you like to make so many puns.
Oh, they aren't so bad.
You, sir, make a SpongeBob reference in almost every conversation we've had. Put that together with my brother's lame dad jokes, and I'm in purgatory.
Shouldn't that be hell?
Only if I was stuck with a Mongram from GX. I hate that man. Anyway, Gaius says sometimes Lissa could be a little more princess-like. Which Lissa says she'll remember the next time she's healing him, and then feel guilty when she shows him the gift she brought him. Which is apparently needlepoint, which Gaius is surprised that it looks good. Lissa has actually been practicing, because it looks like an actual cat this time! Hooray! And Lissa points out she wouldn't be a bad wife. Oh boy, Lissa, you're in for something. Actually, scratch that. Lissa knows she's in for something because she actually likes the guy. As all S supports, Gaius tries to propose to her, but Lissa is one step ahead of him this time and knows he will and orders him to marry him. Probably one of the more easier proposals we've seen.
And lastly, we have Lonku. C support. Apparently Crom has a talk with Lonku about guarding Lissa. Now we all know Lonku has a strange reputation around women, to say the least, but Lissa being Lissa tells him to get over it. Lonku asks if there really is somebody after her, and Lissa confirms it, having no idea why someone would want to kill her. He points out it's probably because she's royalty and that she never should be alone. Lissa feels safe and goes around carelessly a bit until Lonku said that she needs to keep her eyes open because danger could be anywhere, before saying someone else should be more than capable of protecting her. Lissa says since Lonku was being lazy, that's why Crom picked him, but then Lonku quickly says he wasn't before Lissa could say she was kidding. Considering Lonku's skill and everything, Crom probably trusted him the most to protect Lissa and he should feel honoured. Lonku agrees, and Lissa said they should shake hands to make peace. That's not happening anytime soon. Whatever the reason that makes Lonku disconcert woman, he's willing to make sure that it doesn't mess with his assignments. Though Lissa said she'd thank him for protecting her by helping him fix this little problem. However, Lonku doesn't want to, and Lissa decides to train instead. B support. It seems it was raining for a little bit, but it's now stopped and Lissa spots a rainbow. Lonku tells Lissa to keep her distance from him, but Lissa wonders if she can even guard her from all the way over there. He says he can get close to her in the blink of an eye. Lissa is amazed and tries to see how far she can go, but before she does, Lonku stops her from getting closer to him. Lissa says he's sharp, but she's just trying to be friendly, but she can't if she's very far away from her. But Lonku has no intentions on being friends. Lissa then wonders if he feels the way he does, why protect her at all? He then explains that it's what he was ordered to do, and if Lissa were to die, morale in the entire army would fall. But Lissa thinks that no one would care if she did die, that someone would just move her body away and continue the fight like nothing happened. Lonku then doesn't believe how blind she is to all the smiles she brings and says that she makes people happy and calm. This makes Lissa happy, and then she asks Lonku if she makes him happy. Well, she does, but at a distance. Smooth Lonku. Real smooth. Lissa understandably decides she's had enough and leaves, but Lonku wants to go with him, but then Lissa quickly states that she's going to take a bath, which... Lonku, you know you could just wait outside the door or something. But he takes notice that there hasn't been any attempts on her life so far, and what if it's even true that she's in danger?
A support. Lonku and Lissa are out somewhere with a bumpy road and ask Lonku if they should hold hands. Which we all know he's gonna say no, but Lissa's upset since they've been together for a while now. He should be used to her by now. She even wanted him to smile more, but she's then shushed by Lonku, which Lissa takes the wrong way, but Lonku quickly takes Lissa behind him and he takes a hit from an arrow. Lissa, being shocked and afraid, is saying Lonku can't die, only for him to point out one arrow isn't enough to kill him. Lissa then says that more could, and it turns out that they're surrounded. Lonku realizes her assassins found them and tells her to stay close. After Lonku took care of them, Lissa offers to heal Lonku. He says he's fine, and then asks if she is, and she is, obviously, due to Lonku. He's happy to hear that she's thankful for him saving her life. Since he took care of them, she should be relatively safe to walk back to camp. But to be sure, he says he should walk with her. Lissa, however, says since they are all gone, Lonku will no longer be guarding her and they won't have walks together. Lonku says there's no reason to, and Lissa says that they were getting closer as friends. Lonku asks her to keep her distance again, but seeing how upset Lissa is about that fact, he suggested that they can still chat every once in a while, and it makes her happy again. And finally, as support. Lissa is back to talk with Lonku. Seems they have been having these frequently since the incident with the attackers. He doesn't seem too excited, and Lissa makes fun of him for it. In return, he asks if she'd rather have him fake a smile every time she's around, which, well, would make Lonku creepy. I don't blame her here. And so she's stuck with his usual personality. Lissa then goes on about how he shouldn't be so cold to her since she was used to having him around, and now she barely sees him anymore, though she thinks Lonku wouldn't understand how that feels. And since he can't be around women, she asks him to be honest and to tell her if he wants her around or not. To her surprise, Lonku says he actually likes it when she's around. She was expecting him to say he wanted her gone, but Long Q continues to say she isn't a bother to him and he likes having her around. He missed the time they had together, and like always, leads to him showing her the ring. Lissa again reminds us he hates women, but Long Q says she's the exception. He's always thinking of her and wants to be with her and protect her forever if she'd let him. Which we all know she will, and she will protect him in turn, so long as there's no more distance. Okay, that was a lot to go through. Now, let us see what we know about Owain himself. We are going to look at as much information as we can from Awakening Fates, Heroes, and Warriors. Sure, Warriors is a third-party game, but someone had to approve of the things happening in that game during development, so you never know what is there. I shall take my leave here, however, and let Hadouken here take the lead on one of his favorite characters.
Owain is the leader of the Justice Cabal, a group that includes himself, Cynthia, and Morgan. Oh, and sometimes Jerome as well. We know he's a bit of a fighter and does fight in a dramatic way on purpose. After Owain was born and was old enough to fight, he joined his parents in battle. However, during one battle, Owain was attacked by an archer from behind, only to be moved out of the way by his father. The arrow was fatal, and he died. During another battle, Lissa was also killed while healing the wounded. When Lissa died, Owain was given his mother's ring, and he also took a piece of her staff and named it Lissa. I assume he carried it around along with the ring. Due to both of these events, this caused Owain to adapt to his dramatic persona on the battlefield, because he vowed to protect people. Though we do see him speak normally at times, and this is why no matter who the father is, their personalities will never match up.
Well, if we were to say dramatic personality, I would say Varian, but it's nothing on the scale of Owain. So no one still compares to that. If we move on to Fates, Owain as Odin, for however long the trio have been living in that world since their disappearance in Awakening's End, out of those three, Owain may be more energetic and dramatic and naming every single thing in sight. He is the one who is recovering from the loss of his parents and the fight with Grima the quickest. His mind has matured, but still sometimes doesn't like the fact he has to adapt to a new world while slowly forgetting the one he came from. Truth be told, we don't know if these three in Conquest or Revelations, if they go back home or are permanently stuck there forever, which would make this fear quite reasonable. However, he does help Severa and Inigo with their own fears during Fates.
Owain is also known for being a little high-headed at times, but as he becomes a parent, his personality and interactions are on equal grounds with Ophelia. He has respect for her and she for him, and the relationship is shown to be very strong and close. He is even very doting and caring towards her, and they never bring each other down, compared to how Owain and his parents interacted, and he's described as weird and devoted.
Though we do not have more info for Owain from Heroes or Warriors, considering we only have Odin in Heroes, and Owain isn't even officially out for Warriors yet. Okay, scratch what I just said about Warriors having no information. There is some information since this video was delayed. It was supposed to come out before the Awakening Pack was released, but it has been released and I have it. And in Owain and Camilla's support conversation, there's just a little bit of evidence that maybe it does hint towards Owain being the child of Long Q. Now, I say maybe because there's two reasons why Owain would have the reaction he does. One, he could have inherited that nervousness around women from Long Q. Second, it's Camilla. What person wouldn't be nervous around that? That's all I gotta say about that. Anyway, back to the theory. But it was important to go through all that we have, including his interactions with his daughter. However, we do see a sense of foreshadowing with the death of his father. He died due to an arrow, and with the conversations we've seen, only one person would fit in this exact situation, and that is Long Q. If you do not know what foreshadowing is, it is a technique used in writing where you hint to something that will happen in the future of the story. An example of this, and spoiler warning if you care about Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, in episode 2 of this anime, Yuya and Yuzu face each other off in a duel, with Yuzu portraying the villain in their entertainment duel. Later in the series, it's shown that in one life before the world split into 4 different dimensions, Pendulum/Standard, Synchro, Exceed, and Fusion, they were all one world at one point. The point is, Yuya was once a great duelist turned into a murderous psychopath named Zark and was destroying his home world. He was only stopped due to Yuzu, who was known as the duelist Rei, and she stopped him and was the one who split the world into 4, giving us the 4 you boys and you girls. And given if this info about Owain's father was supposed to be intentional or not, Longq is the only one who was attacked by an arrow in Lissa's support. And yes, I checked all of her supports. The only one being Frederick, but he was telling Lissa that they were going to practice dodging arrows. Nothing along the lines of protecting someone and getting hit by an arrow.
Let's also consider that Longq and Owain both start as Myrmidons. It makes sense because Owain is very good with a sword, and he has a strong sense of protecting his comrades in battle. It is something Longq would do as well, since he'd be ordered not only to protect Lissa, but he was probably told to look after those around him if they needed help or were wounded. And if Longq trained with Owain when he was older and was allowed to fight alongside his parents, it would make sense that he was properly trained to partake in battle. But then history would repeat itself with this arrow, except it was fatal.
Sure, there's evidence Gaius could also potentially taught Owain how to use a sword and fight properly, but I'm not sure if he'd have his son take part of this war. And this is also absolutely true for Libra, since we know they'd want their child to have the best experience growing up due to he himself being practically abandoned as a child. The most logical choice in this case is Longq. So there you have it. Owain's father is more than likely Longq. So much information to go through, but I guess we did dwell a lot into Owain's story. I'm glad you were here for this, though.
Not a problem. Glad I could help, in fact. I really enjoyed myself. It was quite fun.
I suppose it's only right to have you spin the shipyard wheel, and yes, we will continue with the original wheel. So, spin the wheel of Ship Dipper!
And the child you'll be looking at next time is... Yarn!
Ah, the bunny boy I actually kinda like. So the wheel spoke. Next time we are looking at Yarn. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more, there should be more recommended in the sidebar or a playlist somewhere. I also do other stuff like song covers and more, including Splatoon content and Pokemon content.
And if you'd like to see more of what I do, go ahead and check out my channel, watch some videos and subscribe if you feel so inclined. The link to it is in the description below. But that's not the only place you can hear my voice. Head over to HarmonyNet Studios and check out the Ties of Fate audio play. I play Topaz, the Helionian counterpart to Apollo. Light plays... how many characters again?
5 characters, because 2 were an emergency and now I can't give them up. I have become attached to my roles. But please, check out Ties of Fate if you need audio in the background while doing work, homework, chores, etc. And lastly, I have a Patreon for those that want to support more of what I do. And I mean, don't count on me only doing Fire Emblem videos. I am a person who gets bored very easily of the same things. So if you do become a patron for the low pledge, or whatever it's called, of $1, you get access to the Discord server called The Stage, where I will be, and you guys can request videos, send fan art, or help with research for the next theory video, or any other type of video I'm going to do in the future.
Question, Light.
Yes?
So, you created this area, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, does that mean you can create and or get rid of anything you want in here?
Huh. I've never thought of it that way. I guess you're right. In fact...
Huh? Why are you looking at me like that? No. No. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.